Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. We have the press conference of our team principals of F1 in Azerbaijan Grand Prix. We will listen to them together and see what they're going to say.
Hello everybody and welcome to our team representatives press conference here in Baku ahead of the FIA Formula 1 Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Closest to me we have Ayao, Komatsu, then Alessandro, Alunni, Bravi and Christian Horner. Very warm welcome to you all. Christian, can we start with you? So we now know it's official. Adrian Newey is going to Aston Martin. Can we start by just getting your reaction to that news?
Well, it wasn't a great surprise. I think it was becoming clearer and clearer that that was the route that he was going to go, rather than into retirement or any other team. And so obviously it'll be a new challenge for him, and we'll be sad to see him when he leaves next year. But wish him all the best for the future, and obviously look back with great fondness the time that the 20 years almost that we spent together, obviously the highs and lows during that period, and but look forward to the future, and I think we're well positioned for that.
You know the impact that Adrian had on your team when he joined. What have Aston Martin got to look forward to?
Well, Adrian is he's obviously a very creative guy, and he's not your average designer. I think he's the only person still in Formula One working on a drawing board. So inevitably there will be a process of having to get to know each other, how each other work, and so on. But he's unique in many respects, and I think that Aston will obviously look to draw upon his huge experience.
Okay. What about the here and now? The competition have caught up. What is the mood in the camp at Red Bull Racing now compared to 3 months ago?
I think it's pretty positive. I mean, definitely coming out of Monza was a tough weekend for us, but I think out of every negative comes a positive, and I think the negativity of that weekend exposed some key areas of the car that we've been grappling with for some time, and I think it's given a clear direction. And so the whole team, from the drivers putting in large amounts of time on the simulator, all the way through every single department, are really determined and pushing as hard as possible. Some long hours going in Milton Keynes at the moment from all the men and women back there, and hopefully we can turn things around.
I mean, FP1 here in Baku looked promising, but how quickly can you turn things around? How quickly do you need to turn things around?
Well, things can change pretty quickly. I mean, we've won 7 Grand Prix this year. The most, or Max has certainly won 7. The most that any other driver is 2 wins. So things can change quickly, and we've had some imbalances in the car that we've been looking to understand, and I think we've got a clear direction on that now. So, but of course, it takes a period of time. It's one thing understanding the issue; it's another thing addressing it and getting the parts on the car that enable that to happen.
If you took this car back to a circuit where you dominated earlier in the season, Bahrain, let's say, would it be slower than you were at the race?
No. I think that there's several aspects. One thing you're talking about is in terms of absolute load that you're putting on the car through upgrades, but then you have balance as well. And I think we had a better balanced car at the beginning of the year. I think as we've put load on the car, it hasn't correlated with what we've seen in our tools, and I think a couple of other teams have had that as well. So as we're starting to push the extremities of these regulations, sometimes you find that correlation drops out between track and your simulation tools, which are primarily the wind tunnel and CFD. And so there's been obviously a big push to understand that and address it.
And how do you see the 2 championships now?
Well, look, there's everything to play for. I mean, obviously Max in the drivers' championship has a solid lead, but it's nothing you can take for granted with eight races to go. So we're super conscious of that with races and sprint races. It's only takes a couple of bad weekends and big weekends from Lando, and suddenly it's an awful lot closer. The constructors, it's a 3-horse race. I mean, obviously we're 8 points ahead of McLaren, but you can't discount Ferrari either, that have quietly snuck their way back into this. So it's a flat out fight over the last remaining 8 races.
Are you enjoying it?
Am I enjoying it? You never enjoy when your cars aren't performing. Are we up for it? Absolutely. And I've never seen a team, more motivated and working as hard as it currently is.
Okay, Christian, thank you. I'm sure there'll be more questions for you in a minute. Alessandro, let's come to you. The car hasn't been easy over the past couple of races. What are the drivers saying about it here after FP1?
I think that FP1 confirmed our weaknesses in terms of high speed instability. Of course, with this low level of grip, we struggle more than others. We have seen during the season that our car has a huge sensitivity, and especially in this kind of conditions, it's difficult to find the balance between high speed and low speed corner. As mentioned by Christian, we have identified our weaknesses and the area to work. Then it's a different aspect to find a good solution and to enable the drivers to exploit the package.
I mean, Red Bull have a load of new parts here. When are we going to see some upgrades on the Sauber?
But we have, as you know, introduced a big package for us in Silverstone and Hungary that then was available to both drivers as of Zandvoort race. And now we need to optimize this package. We struggled to get out most of the performance, especially in Zandvoort. We made a step in Monza, but there is still, a lot of work to be done to find the right balance. We will have other upgrades during the season. We are targeting Austin, but of course for us this year has been more marginal gains that, a big step. So we continue to develop the car. This is also important not just for this season, but also for 2025. It doesn't mean that we are giving up this season, but we are working hard first to identify our weaknesses, and of course nobody has a silver bullet in Formula One. We know that we need to do steps, and the upgrades that will be introduced later in the season should allow us to do another step. If this will be sufficient to catch up our direct competitors, will be just a track, to assess this.
What about drivers? Can we talk about the second driver for next year? Valtteri Bottas talking in quite positive terms yesterday about his chances of being retained. First up, what kind of a driver are you looking to place alongside Nico Hülkenberg? Do you want an experienced guy like Valtteri, or are you still thinking about inexperienced, someone new?
I think this is the current assessment that Mattia is doing. It just started 2 weeks ago, so we have said already in Monza that is taking in charge all the dossier, and the drivers is of course one of the most important one. We are evaluating all the options and to see which is the best balance between a short-term experience and medium long-term maybe young talent. There are potential candidates on both sides. Valtteri is a strong driver for our team. We know him very well. He has been, with the team already for 3 years, and of course, he's one on top of our list. But there are other opportunities. We are just, looking all the pros and cons, and Mattia will take a decision based not only on 2025, but also the medium long-term strategy for the Audi F1 project.
Have you got a deadline by when you need to have taken the decision?
It's not about the deadline, because of course we are not opportunistic. Now that there is only one seat available, that we want to take time. It's more to assess everything, every aspect, and to take a right decision. I think there is no rush, but we want to tick this box also soon. So I think it will be a matter of the next weeks.
Okay. Now, I asked Christian earlier what Adrian Newey is going to bring to Aston Martin. And of course, since you were last in the press conference, Alessandro, Jonathan Wheatley has been announced as a future Sauber Audi team principal. What kind of an impact are you expecting him to have?
I can just judge Jonathan from outside because I don't know him personally, but of course we can see that they have a strong impact and contribution to the last 18 years of success in Red Bull. Red Bull has been, it is still the benchmark in Formula One as a team in terms of organization, in terms of talents. And so I think that a person that has been at the, in one of the key roles in this team can just bring positive contribution. And I expect that Jonathan will be leading our team together with Mattia. So for me, it's a positive addition, and we are looking forward to him next year.
Thanks, Alessandro. Christian, can I just bring you in on Jonathan Wheatley? How instrumental was he in the success that you've had at Red Bull?
Well, Jonathan's done a great job as initially team manager and then sporting director, for us, and he's been part of the journey over the last 19 years, or in our 20th season. So, we're very grateful for what he's done and the effort that he's put in during that time. And an opportunity like this to become a team principal has come along. So, we certainly didn't look to hold him back in any way, and wish him, the very best of luck for the future. But that, in turn, allows there to be progression within our own organisation. And, we'll be announcing very shortly the structure that is a succession to Jonathan's moving to Audi.
Thank you. Ayao, coming to you now. Can we start by talking about Ollie Behrman making his race debut for Haas this weekend? So far, so good in FP1. What do you want to see from him here in Baku?
Yeah, again, what we talked about quite a lot is just building up to the whole weekend. Obviously, it's a completely different mindset whether you're doing just FP1 or got target on a Saturday afternoon, Sunday afternoon. But again, this is the street track, and the FP1, we all know the grip level is going to be really poor. So really important to set certain objectives along the way and then just build up to it. And then, as you saw in FP1, he's done that perfectly. So it's great.
Is he working with all of the engineers that he'll have on his car in 2025?
No, because that's not been finalized yet. So it's really a simple case of a straight swap between himself and Kevin's crew. So Kevin's usual crew is running Oli this weekend.
Okay, because I was going to say, are you treating this like race one of 2025?
It's not really like a race one of 25, but of course we've been working with Oli throughout the various FP1s, right? But like I said, the objectives and mindset is totally different when you got the whole race weekend. So it's a great opportunity for him, but also for us as well. And then again, alongside Nico, we cannot ask for a better reference. So yeah, that's a great opportunity for everyone.
Well, we know how quick Nico Hülkenberg is. One of his former teammates said this week he was a career killer. What can Ollie learn from Nico?
I honestly haven't had a career killer thing. Nico's great, and then he doesn't play any politics. He's very straightforward guy, and he's always transparent, and then he always sets the benchmark, especially in a qualifying type run. So it's very easy to talk to him as well. So I think for Oli, I don't think, honestly, you can ask for a better teammate. And in terms of high fuel management, etc., I think they can both run from each other. But again, Nico's got a bit more experience now. So yeah, I think it's a great environment for Oli to come in as a first race weekend.
Look, and final one from me, in terms of car performance this weekend, I mean, you're coming here on the back of a decent result, on track at least, at Monza with Kevin. Do you think you can perform and challenge for points here?
Yeah, I'd like to think so. I mean, I just find it this year, it's very difficult to predict precisely exactly where we're going to be at each race. Like, for instance, Zandvoort, I was expecting slightly worse. And then Monza, again, our race pace was better than I expected. But looking at FP1, I think we are there and thereabouts. And we need to still fine-tune certain things. Again, driver feedback both from Nico and Oli, it's been really good in the sense of, like, in terms of weakness, how they're describing it. So I think we identified pretty clearly which areas to work on, so we keep chipping away at it, and then for sure our target is to score points with both cars this weekend.
All right, good luck with that. Thank you. Let's open this to the floor. Name and publication, please. Who's first? Alex.
Alex Canlocus, Autosport. Question to Christian, please. You said it wasn't a great surprise to see Adrian end up at Aston Martin, but what about the scale of the announcement? Even the fact that he was at another team's factory, given he's still on the payroll at Red Bull. Lewis Hamilton, when he was announced as a Ferrari driver, he wasn't at Maranello. So what's going on there?
Yes, it was obviously a large announcement by Aston, and Adrian has always tended to do his own thing. So, obviously it was a big moment for that team, and they chose to celebrate it, perhaps potentially slightly prematurely before he's finished his contract with Red Bull Racing. But obviously it was a big moment for that team.
All right, thank you. Next one. Scott.
Scott Mitchell from The Race. Another question for Christian. Before we went into the summer break, there was a lot of obviously talk about drivers, not just Checo, but also Daniel, what both Red Bull teams would kind of do for the rest of the year and into next season. Both teams have kind of had technical issues to prioritise since the summer break, not just Red Bull Racing, but also the other team as well. Where are you at on that? Is it very much that the cars, the priority, the drivers are set for both teams in the Red Bull family for the rest of the year?
Well, as you say, the car very much is the priority, for us. I think Sergio has definitely made a step forward since the summer break, and is showing signs of a good recovery. And hopefully, as we improve the car, that will help some of the issues that he's been having. I think regarding VCARB, I think that's a question for Laurent. But again, I think obviously priority has been placed on developments that they've brought to the cars recently, and fixing the cars.
Christian, in what areas has Checo taken a step forward since the summer break?
I think that, just before the summer break, obviously there was massive scrutiny and pressure being placed on him. And obviously it's a media business that we live in. And of course that scrutiny can sometimes come, overwhelming. And I know he was struggling with the constant speculation about his job, prior to the summer break. And I think, going away, having the ability to reset, refresh, and come back with a clear mindset, knowing that he's got the full support of the team, that he is our driver, and we know we've got some issues on the car that we're pushing to sort out, and he's been putting in a lot of hard work to help address that, and I think that we're starting to see him find some of the form that hopefully he showed at the beginning of the year, because we're going to need it as we strive to defend this constructors title.
Thank you, Christian. All right, back to the floor. Next one.
Jake Box, Leg Autosport. Another question for Christian, please. Mercedes and McLaren have both had their front wings scrutinised and given the okay under allegations that were perhaps flexing. Is this an outcome that you're happy with, given that I guess Red Bull went through the same thing about a decade ago? Does it mean that you can follow that path, or will you be seeking further clarification on that? Thank you.
Well, we went through it a little more recently than a decade ago. I think 3 years ago. But I think what's crucial for any team, as with all these things, is always for clarity. Is something acceptable, or is it not? If it's deemed to be acceptable, then obviously that encourages you to pursue similar solutions yourself. So, the regulator, obviously they have all the information. They have all the analysis that they've recently put cameras on, many cars. So I guess they're collecting that data. But it's one of those things that, as I say, that if it's deemed to be acceptable, then you pursue that route.
Thank you. Next one. Adam.
Adam Cooper, F1. For all three of you, the rookie sprint event in Abu Dhabi looks like it's coming closer to being a reality. What are your thoughts on that? Is it all positives? What are the challenges? It's obviously useful for teams who've already nominated a rookie for next year, like Alpine, Mercedes, Haas, maybe even Sauber. But also for Christian, you've got a chance to run two rookies who wouldn't otherwise be anywhere near a race potentially in the next couple of years.
Ayao, can we start with you?
Yeah, I think it's great. The post-season test, if we don't do things like that, it's you are, let's say, just doing a tire test. So I think adds value to the day and make it more exciting, and another opportunity to put young driver in the car. These days, it's such a rare opportunity for young drivers to get in the current Formula One car. So I think it's really an interesting move.
I fully agree with Ayao. It's important to give to rookies more opportunities, to show them. We know how much it's difficult to get into Formula One. So I think that FP1 sessions are not sufficient, to showcase what you can do. and there are a lot of risk linked to proper performance in FP1 also for the team. This is a really nice opportunity also for us. Not having a TPC program is an additional opportunity to have more data and to assess not just the performance itself, also the mindset and the approach of the rookie driver.
Yeah, it's something that I tabled at the last couple of Formula One commissions, because I think that I think it's great for the young drivers, and I think that the problem with some of the rookie tests is they all get used for testing. You never know, are they running on 50 kilos, 70 kilos, 30 kilos of fuel? What engine mode are they going? You don't really know. You don't know, how the opposition are doing. So I think this is a non-championship race for the junior drivers. I think it's a fantastic opportunity, and I think that it comes at the end of a busy season, but opposed to just running around burning fuel and tyres, and only the teams that are running those drivers knowing whether they're doing a good job or not, to give potentially 10 drivers or 10 rookies the opportunity of jumping in the current cars and having the equivalent of a sprint race. I think it's fantastic, and I think it'll be a really popular event.
Thanks all. Okay, back to the floor. Who's next?
Jos made an NOS question to Christian as well, please. Yesterday, Checo said he was pretty optimistic about the two upcoming races, Baku and Singapore, of course. Do you understand his optimism, although this generation of cars has been pretty difficult for you on street circuits?
Well, based on 95% of his race victories have come on street circuits, it's clear why Checo is feeling, more confident with being here in the streets of Baku and then Singapore. But I think for the characteristics of our car, particularly this circuit is all slow 90-degree corners, and that hasn't been the Achilles heel for the car. So some of the changes that we're making and some of the discoveries that we've had actually are not that applicable for this circuit. They're more applicable for the likes of Austin, some of the faster flowing circuits. So still valuable lessons that we can learn, and some of the stuff that we're trying and testing will certainly not be unbeneficial for a race like this. But we're expecting it to have a bigger effect at some of the more flowing circuits.
Okay, thank you. Back to Scott.
Scott Mitchell-Munn from the race. Question to Alessandro. Just wondered, with the changes that Audi's made or is making with the Formula One structure going forward, what does it mean for you? Is there an opportunity for you to continue in the role that you're in at the moment to bridge the gap to Jonathan joining next summer? I think Matthias said that there needs to be a way of working out exactly how that kind of on-site leadership works before Jonathan's in his position.
First of all, let me say that the changes that has been done are a positive one for the entire team, and of course there is now a different leadership team. And for about myself, I will talk to Mattia in the next few weeks, and we will have an open and transparent discussion about what are the positions that available, what could be my role in the future. There are of course many factors to be evaluated. I've been going through different roles within Sauber Group from the beginning as a managing director and then team representative. Of course, the situation with the Audi F1 project now is changed also for me, and I will assess what is the best also for me in the near future.
Thank you. Any more? Yes, Alex.
Alex Callan, Autosport. Another question to Alessandro, please. You spoke a little bit earlier about the discussions over the second driver that you might have next year, the free seat. But I wondered, what about the driver you've already signed quite a while ago? Nico Hülkenberg announced as joining next year. What have you made of him this year, and how excited is the team to have him on board next year?
I'm happy about your question, because of course we have been quite early into the drivers market this year. We tried to anticipate the market, and I think was a good idea and a good move after what we have seen in the second part of the season. Nico is a very strong driver for us. He's good qualifier, and this is one point that will be even more important in the future. We have seen how much qualifying is crucial in Formula One, and he has this kind of characteristic. I think Ayao can confirm. is also, a straightforward guy, and we need, people that, speak clearly within the team. We have a lot of challenges ahead of us, and there will be no politics, just hard work ahead of us. And I think Nico can fit properly into the Audi F1 project. He has at the same time a lot of experience in Formula One. And of course, to have a solid foundation and an experienced guy in the team will help at the initial stage of the Audi F1 project. So I can just see positive things about him, and we are excited to have him in the in the next year together with the team. But now we need to be focused on our drivers and to get out of this season at the very best.
All right, thank you. Do we have any more from the floor? Yes, back to Scott.
Coming on the race is a question to all three, but maybe starting it with Christian. With this, the possible race for the young drivers, when that first emerged as a possibility, it was obviously in very tentative early stages in around July. How much has sort of been resolved since then, and how much kind of needs to happen, be agreed for it to be realised? Because it felt like something that was a lot more realistic for 25, but had a faint chance for 24.
Well, it's like all things in life. If you want it to happen, you make it happen. And I think there was a clear directive to say, come on, let's get the job done for this year. And so obviously that puts pressure on the sporting working groups and the various team managers to work with the FIA to come up with a set of regulations, but I think mainly adopting sprint regs and so on. It's eminently doable. Doesn't need to be overcomplicated. I think it's just going to be a single car from each team rather than two cars. And effectively you're just using the mileage in a different way as opposed to just performing over during a test day. So I think the event will take place all in one day, so a qualifying and then the equivalent of a sprint race. So yeah, it comes at the end of a long season, but I think it'll be a great thing. It's a great opportunity for the young drivers, and we're fully supportive of it.
Okay, thank you. Anything from you guys? No more. All right. Any more from the floor? No more from the floor. In which case, we'll leave it there, gentlemen. Thank you very much. Best of luck for the rest of the weekend. Thank you.
So we are going to also to give the exclusive interviews on the press conference that the team principals have said. Like, it will be much more like exclusive videos that we are going to upload on our channel. So I would say to our viewers, please don't leave immediately our channel, so because we're going to have a lot of other videos that we're going to upload and a lot of other contents that are going to be about this topic, about our team principles of Formula 1, what they are going to say about Azerbaijan, how they are going to get prepared for this Grand Prix, for this hard race that's going to be really excited, because as all we know, Azerbaijan is one of the hardest Grand Prix in the season. Nevertheless, thank you everyone for watching this video with us. Please don't forget to like and subscribe our channel. If you have something to add up, please comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one.